Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, the Exile Jester, and we are about to play some more Minecraft. So this here, I made one. I'm going to be making a second one, but this here is my automated cactus farm. It's quite small. It doesn't take very many things, so it works very well for starter bases or starter worlds. There's not a huge amount of redstone, which is fantastic. I enjoy very eccentric redstone devices, but this is always kind of nice for um, essentially how you can start off in a world. That being said, this is all you're gonna need in the entire build. So you need an observer, because this observer here, I can go and break this. So that observer right there, it will detect when that cactus has grown its final tick. Now, for those of you who've played Minecraft or messed around with cactuses and stuff, you know that if anything is placed next to a cactus, directly next, it can go catty corner. But if it's directly next to it, it kills the cactus, therefore breaking the cactus. But essentially what we're doing is we're going to have this observer. When the cactus grows up next to it, it will then send a signal. Oop, if I can get up here. It'll send a simple signal that will go down inward into our piston. Now, when that piston extends, it's going to push out, which will break everything but these three bottom ones. We want to make sure that the three bottom ones do not break so that it can continuously grow. Now, if I place a cactus here, oops, here and here, obviously, you're not going to have any kind of issue at all. But the moment that it was to go all the way up, it's then going to break it. Now, there's a couple things that you can do about this if you want. There's a way that you could put a dispenser right here and put water so that it would then go down and dispense over top of these, because it spreads out when it would leave the dispenser. So then the water would then push over top of the cactus and continue pushing it downward. If you don't really care about it, if you're not trying to get the most efficient farm, you don't mind if you get a couple lost like that from time to time, then this works pretty simple. If you put a bucket of water here, it'll flow all the way around to some hopper systems that we have over there. Then, once it does get over here, I have a simple, I'll show you something cool that you can do, but this is just a simple clock system, a repeater, in order to allow all the items to be shot up into that hopper, and then, of course, it's going to be dispensing into here. Don't mind these, this was me doing gooberish stuff. But that's where your cactus would end up. So now, it's almost nighttime. So essentially what we're going to be doing here is we need to have one block all the way around that isn't going to be messed with whatsoever. I can go ahead and grab some dirt and dirt. Might as well sleep while I'm in here too. Save a little bit of time here. I hope y'all's day is going pretty good. Mine's been alright. Had a couple of rough bouts, but for the most part, it's been pretty decent. Alright, so we are going to do all of this. Now, I went ahead and already put a dispenser in there. So those dispensers just send items up into there. Nothing too special or fantastic whatsoever. We do need to run some redstone up into the clock here. Oops, that's not what we want. I want to go there. Otherwise, if I was to put a piece here, it would just solidify the redstone signal. If that's not there, then it will then allow it to subtract and flicker. Alright, so we need to build this up the way that we would want it, like so, and then then we're going to be coming back in to put the hoppers in. Now, the hoppers are going to be flowing inside of here. All right, so we want to be able to put this here, and then my hoppers. And yes, I know I should have a shovel, but I don't. I'm going to be putting our hoppers right inside of here. Let's go ahead and grab the few items that we're going to need. Grab all of this stuff. Not that we need all of this stuff. There's a dispenser if you did want to put a dispenser up there. Alright, so let's go ahead and... we don't need the observer or the pistons yet. What we do need, however, is... what am I looking for? Hoppers. Alright. So now, we can place our hoppers going this direction. Going up, over... oops, wrong thing here. There we go. Alright. Went ahead and grabbed that. Alright, so now anything that is dropped into here, which the water is then going to push all the items over here, it is then all going to end up into here. And then all we have to do is supply power to it in order for it to go up into here. Now, I've got a very big sorting system that automatically sorts all your stuff and all. That's a little bit farther down the line because you need a lot of iron for that. But I'll show you guys how to make that as well. It's pretty neat. Alright, so essentially, the first thing that we have to do here is we need to be able to place our piston. Right. So we don't want our piston here. We want our piston to be one additional block up so that we don't break this very bottom block of cactus. I'm not going to worry about encasing it just yet. I don't think it's too terribly important at this point. All right. So then we want to make sure that we go 3 upward, and that's where the observer is going to be placed. So that'll be 1, 2 blocks. That'll be the 3rd block, but then we want it the 4th block up because it's going to be running into that 4th block. Is that where we want it? Yeah, right there. All right, so then we want to grab ourselves an observer. Place that. Oh, I forgot those placed backwards. No big deal. I guess I gotta. No, I do need to go up there. This needs to be broken anyway. Gosh, fun stuff. Okay, so we place it right there. So now it's going to detect whenever that cactus runs 3 blocks up, which is exactly what we want. Now, we then are going to run our redstone, and it just needs to run down to here because it'll actually still cycle. See? Cycles. Just perfect. Alright, so all of that is peachy keen. As you see, super simple. There's really not a whole lot to it. I normally suggest at least placing a couple of torches inside of here just to keep things from spawning inside of here. Just kind of a control to make sure that you're not going to have like a creeper spawn in here, and then when you try to clean it out, then you're going to have the creeper detonate and you lose a bunch of stuff and you have to rebuild. It's just a pain in the butt. So sometimes it's just easier if you light it up and encase things in the first place. Right, we want to continue going all the way around. I am going to run out of glass. However, what I want to do is in this block right here. You don't want to put it on the base of it, but you want to put it one up right here. When you place water there, it's going to traverse all the way around. So anything that is dropped into here at all, it's then going to catch the current, and it's going to float its way around to the side. If you did have it on the base block, that makes it to where the base block is actually, it doesn't move at all. Therefore, if anything does fall in there, you're going to lose even more items. Versus with this, there's a continuous flow all the way through, which works pretty darn good, actually. All right, so then when those items are there, all you have to do is click it. It'll send your items up from all of those, and it sends it on in. So it's not too resource heavy, which is fantastic. But it definitely does its job. So, yep, you just sit here and you can go about your business doing your own stuff, and it will slowly but surely keep letting the cactus grow, and when it does grow, and it grows all the way up, well, then it'll chop it off, collect the items that it does, and whenever you want to go check, you just switch it on and start going. Oh, here, I can show you guys something, actually. So if you have a dispenser, and you have yourself a redstone comparator, basically what happens is if I have a dispenser here, and say this is my water that's going to be traveling upward. Oh, and one thing I didn't show you guys is, in case you don't know how the water is flowing upward, there is one section of soul sand underneath there. Essentially, all you have to do to make it work rather easy is you place the soul sand down there. Now, normally, you would need to place a water block for each section, which stinks to have to do that. But if you do place soul sand, you go to the top, where you want the very top to be, place your water. What's up, dude? Once your water traverses down and hits the soul sand, hits the soul sand, it is really, bud. I'll leave him be. It then creates a solid pillar of water and allows the bubbles to start flowing, which will push items upward. So it works pretty good. Works rather good. Alright, so if your dispenser is here and you wanted to make an automated system to where it's just going to flicker as soon as an item is in there, well, you can actually place a comparator here, and when you do have an item placed inside here, doesn't matter what the item is, you do have power. It actually sends power. So what you can do is you can simply run a system like this. Oops. Let's see, what do I want to do here? Because basically I want to do this. You're not doing what I want you to do, Chief. Oh, I know what I messed up. Okay, so because this gives a signal that is comparative to how many items is in here. Now, what you can do, kind of a way to cheat the system, is you can place a redstone repeater. When you place any kind of signal runs into a redstone repeater, it will amp the system up to its maximum amount before it sends it out. So even if you have one item in here, it's going to glow its full potential inside of your redstone repeater. So what we want to do is we want to do this. This is going to create a flicker system. But then we want that flicker system to also set off the dispenser, right? So if I go in here, it's then going to auto dispense. Now, what happens is, probably put way too much in there. Let's take half of that out. Okay, so what happens is that ticking noise will get annoying, right? It stops. As soon as there's no items in it anymore, it'll automatically stop. But as soon as items go into it, it'll automatically turn itself on, automatically dispense, and be good to go. You actually don't need these here. You can just have those items there, or these this redstone running up. See, because if you don't have this, it's not going to send the signal that direction. However, if you place it over top, it'll go ahead and work just fine. Yeah, looks pretty good actually. I'll tell you what, we can actually set that up on this system over here. So we want to be able to set it up to where these two, there we go, these two are then going to send signals outward, right? But in order to do this, I don't know why I'm using a golden pickaxe for that. Not the smartest thing. Okay. So we want to run a comparator here and a comparator here. Now, we then want to run a redstone repeater, and we need to make another redstone repeater. Let's see. I guess I can make some redstone torches. What do I need for a redstone repeater? Some stone. Let's get ourselves some stone. There we go. Alright. Yeah, we can use 4, why not? Nope, wrong one. Yep. I know. Okay, we probably better sleep. I feel like the day cycles are so much faster right now. No, let me in, please. Thank you. It feels like it becomes daytime so quick. Maybe it has something to do with being on hardcore, or not hardcore, but like the hardest level. I don't know. No, stay in there, Carl. But yeah, so we're gonna come over here. Get ourselves a trader over there. What's up, dude? How's it hanging? Nerd. What am I doing wrong here? I'm doing something wrong, but I don't know what. What's up, dude? What? What do you want? Okay. So real quick, before I fiddle too much with this, I do need to get a redstone torch here. Fill that back in. We can hop up. Put in our comparator. Alright. Alright, so I'm going to place this here. Maybe I want to place it one more up. I'm just finagling with all sorts of stuff, ain't I? Alright. Place that bad boy there. Place that there. Okay. Yeah, because what I want to do is I want to run redstone to there after it receives a flicker. Right? Maybe I just make them independent systems. I mean, I could, in theory, technically. If I run something like so, right? So if I run something like this, I can actually run a flicker system. So what's going to happen, what's going to happen is I'll be able to run its signal downward. This can be a neg, yeah. Now, if I put an item in there, yeah, and then it automatically stops. Okay, that's all we need then. One thing that you do need to watch for is if I put an item here, it obviously is going to cut off the redstone signal. So you don't want to do that. You also don't want to break your own redstone. However, there is a couple ways of getting around that. slabs is one of the easiest ways to get around it, where you can actually place a slab and it doesn't mess with it whatsoever. Alright, so I'm going to essentially duplicate that right over here. We're going to be running juice over here. I don't need to break that. Okay, so we can grab all of that. We're just making a circle. The only reason I'm going around like this is the same reason why I had to do that on the demonstration, is because we don't have a way of getting it to come this direction and going straight into it. Unless there's an input item, like a comparator, you're not going to get that. That being said, that way you guys know what's going on. Back behind here, I placed a redstone torch, which means it's on underneath here, which means it's powering this dropper. Now, the dropper only drops items when it has just received power. So if it's receiving power and I put items in, it doesn't do anything at all. But when I do flicker it, when power is sent to the back of a block that has a redstone torch on the other side, it then shuts the redstone torch off. But because this is flickering, it will then cause that to flicker as well, which will then flicker the power to the dispenser itself. So it still works. Still works. You just kind of a roundabout way of getting to it. Okay, so then we want to go ahead and place this here so it inputs in, and then you got yourself your flicker. So it's all going to traverse up there, all going to go into there. We have all of our yummy items. Don't ask me why I said yummy. It's kind of interesting. I thought I just heard a creeper that had a heart attack. I do have more dirt. Okay. Alright, so now all of that is encased. We can add a little bit of material back here if we want this to look a little bit more natural. Grass will grow over this, and it will end up looking rather nice, actually. Alright. That cactus is growing a little bit, and it'll just continuously grow. Alright. I do suppose I can't really break that there, but what I could do... do I really not have any more glass? Well, shucks. I guess. I really don't want to do that, but I will for now. Alright, so I'm just going to put down a... There we go. Okay. We can have access to that. I am going to move this. Because we need to put this on the inside anyway. Not right there. That was not my intentions. Alright. So yeah, anyway, so that was my idea of an automated cactus farm. There's definitely more proficient ways of making them. That way they collect every item. But for the redstone resources and just being able to AFK, leave it be, this actually still works. That way you don't lose any time when it comes to it growing all the way and it chopping down the excess. You can make this very, very large if you really, really wanted to. But this is just a very nice, simple way of doing it if you have very little resources and you just want something that you can make. Later on, I'll show you some pretty fancy ways of making automated redstone or cactus farms, as well as things like sugarcane. Sugarcane's a lot of fun to make automated systems for. You can use hopper mine carts that run back and forth, or there's a lot of different systems that you can use. But anyway, I hope that you guys did like the video. If you have any other suggestions as to maybe something that could have been done, or maybe something that can make it easier for people who are just starting out, then by all means. I know that I got a little bit technical when it comes to all of the redstone that I did back here. But make sure that you leave it down in the comments if you do have any suggestions with that. If there's any other kind of automated systems that you would like to see, or you would like me to try to work on, try to come up with something, then by all means, make sure that you let me know that as well. And anyway, I will see y'all in the next video. Toodles!